Hi everyone, we're live here with Show to Grow, and our show today is about amplifying your content. We as marketers, we all know the importance of creating great content and having our ideal audience find that content. Um, but how do we get that content out there to, how do we get more eyeballs on our content, basically? How do we amplify that content to 11? That's what we're going to talk about today. A couple tips about, you know, before we get into all that, you always want to start with great content, because if you don't have content that's worth sharing, um, then none of this other stuff is going to work for you. So always start with high quality content. Some other tips: try to keep that content something that's going to last. We try to create premium offers that are evergreen, as we call them. And then once you get that good content going, you definitely want to track everything. If you try some of these new methods, and especially if you're going to pay to get in front of some eyeballs, then you definitely want to track everything, see what's working for you. And as always, start with the end in mind. Have a specific goal for your content. Those are the best things that before you begin your any content strategy. So, what are the ways that we can get people to our content besides them finding us on search engine or finding our blog? What are the other ways that we can promote this? There's typically three ways, and Jeff is going to get into that with you guys: the earned media, the paid media, and owned media. And so, Jeff, take it away.
Thank you, Antonio. And like Antonio said, guys, I'm going to go over the three types of ways you can get your content out there and share it with others. The three types are earned media, paid media, and owned media. The first one I'm going to go into is earned media, or other people call it free media. It's essentially online word of mouth. So this refers to publicity gained through promotional efforts that are not paid. So an example of this would be you come up with a piece of content and you share it on your different social media platforms, and then another company or person likes it or retweets it or shares it in some way, and then gets other people to interact with it as well. Other examples of this are reviews online, and guest blogging is another big one there. The second form of media that I'm going to go into is paid media, which is the exact opposite of earned media. It refers to publicity gained through advertising that is paid. Some examples of this is PPC campaigns or AdSense and AdWords, social media advertising. You can boost posts on Facebook. You can actually do Facebook advertising now, and retargeting is also falls under that category. One paid media thing that you might not know is native advertising, and this refers to, here's an example of that would be, say you're on Forbes.com looking at an article that you really enjoy, and then at the bottom of that you see a bunch of different articles that either relate to it or you find interesting, and it flows right into it with that article that you were reading. These are actually not, it may look like it, but these are actually not Forbes articles. These are paid advertising where other companies can get in front of you, where it's not as intrusive and not as upfront getting in front of you. So some good sources of this, or some good tools that you can use to do this, or we like to use Outbrain or Taboola, and I suggest that you go check them out and see if they can help you out. And now the last type of media that I'm going to go into is owned media. Owned media refers to any web property that you may control for your unique brand. So this includes website, a blog or blogger that you might run, and other social media pages. So the objective here is to try and use each of these different medias to get in front of your targeted audience or targeted persona. Now, all of them might not work for you, so it's best to try them all out in different ways and see which ones work for your particular company. Now, I'm going to bring it back over to Antonio, where he's going to go over more about owned media and how you can succeed in it.
Thanks, Jeff. So, as Jeff went into these, some of them you might have known about. I thought the native advertising, probably something that a lot of us haven't delved into yet. So I thought that's neat for some of you guys. I want to dive a little deeper into the owned media, because that's something that we can walk away from, after watching this and get right on. I want to give you a couple tips as you go and you brand some of these. So if you don't currently have like a Tumblr or a Blogger account, you would set this up, and I'm going to give you a couple tips here as you go in. You want to, the idea is that instead of just publishing our content, whether it is, on our website, so think about your website being the trigger to your content going out to all these other owned media channels that you set up. So whether it's, we have Tumblr here in the middle in this diagram, and it's going to go out, you publish it there, it's going to go out to Blogger, to WordPress, and then to some of the other channels that you might have set up. The thing you want to keep in mind is it's just like another line. It's another way of somebody finding your content, then being able to share it. It's also has great inherent SEO value, meaning that you can link back from these properties, some of which are already authoritative just because so many people are on WordPress and so many people are on Blogger. Blogger's actually owned by Google. To have a blog on one of these sites, they're gonna gain authority a lot easier than just your own website or your own blog that's attached to your website. So having your content go out to these, there's a few ways that you can post to these automatically. We have a few tools that we use. One, Synwire. That's something that came out a few years ago, Joe Troyer product, and it goes out to some of these networks. You can also publish videos and syndicate them out. Another tool that we can use is Zapier. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Zapier. All kinds of things that you can do with that. And one of my favorites is IFTTT. It's free. And you can really check out, you can do all kinds of neat things with the recipes there. But basically, you want to go out, you want to set up these own media types. You want to spend a little bit of time, 20, 30 minutes, really branding them, making them look like they're your own, like they're not just put together very quickly. Because people are going to land on it, it's going to represent your brand, and then you're going to want them to take action from there. So take your time, build them out, interlink them, do all that. And if you guys run into any problems, we'll have some resources at the end of this that can help. But basically, that's what we wanted to get across to you today. Different ways to amplify your content. I hope you found it useful. I want you to take away something from this. Go out and start creating some other places and amplify that content. So if you enjoyed this, please share it and do your part to help us out. And we'll see you next time.